Alright, so for our first game here, we got a little bit of Dropshot. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on the Dropshot game mode as a whole. Personally, I think it's like one of the better game modes. It's up there with like Hoops as an extra mode for me personally. I really enjoy the mode. I think, it's a really good game to like warm up on and not take too super serious. I think that a lot of people are just trying to have fun in this game deep down. But yeah, today's video is going to be like a little bit more of a chill episode, maybe talk a little bit about life, things in general, and, try and get a good game. Okay, yeah, maybe they're not taking it so, like, for fun. But, like, just talk a little bit things about more, like, in general, what's going on, and all that stuff. So, not sure if you saw my latest video on how to become better at consistently air rolling, as I hit a disgusto. Hold on, I gotta be a little toxic here. Alright. But yeah, I mean, I'll have a link to it right here. But so in that video, I talk about things that I did in order to get consistently better at air rolling. I would love to hear like everyone's feedback of what they wish they would have saw in the video a little bit more. I think I could have done possibly a better job, maybe getting like a controller overlay to like help out with the like aesthetics of what I'm doing with my hands, as well as like talking a little bit about the different types of air roll left and right, meaning like tornado spins versus just holding down air roll, holding down air roll, and I don't know what the inverse of a tornado spin would be like. What is that? Is it? Probably should do this. Just gonna go again because it's a monkey mode. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what you guys' thoughts are on videos as a whole, if you think the content's going well or not. I think I'm trying to keep the channel's tone rather light, playful, and open to interpretation. I'm very I'm not gonna say like set in my ways, but I have a very like strict opinion that I think about things. And if those like to object, I don't necessarily, I'll never like say you're wrong, and I hope that you'll do the same. But I would like for conversations to be started based on like the differing opinions. I think that's how stuff kind of becomes, I think that's how things are solved in the world, is like you have an opinion, I have an opinion, and we come together and we find a solution. I think that the world right now has too many people talking, not enough people listening. And it's kind of sad. Like, I don't know, like this whole thing going on with like the Olympics going on. I'm sure you're all aware of the skater and everything. Would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. I would love to hear what you guys' thoughts are on the whole situation. If you think that the skaters should be banned, or if you're just kind of like, I don't really care, it's the Olympics, whatever. But like, it's unfortunate that that has to happen. She's 15 years old, so keep that in mind. Like, she's just a kid. But by the same token, if that's how we're going to perceive things, then maybe we shouldn't allow like just kids in the Olympics if they're going to have a different type of standard to follow in case they get trouble. Like, if that person was 18, they could even like be facing jail time. That's it's a world offense. I don't even know what the hell that would be called. Like, it's not a United States thing. It's not even like a Russia thing. It is literally like a world offense. You're cheating the world in order to get a medal at 15. So crazy stuff like that. Love to hear people's opinions. I think that a lot of people are trying to make this person out to be a scapegoat for future incidences, and ultimately, I think it's not a terrible idea, but we do need to keep in mind that this is someone's life. They've dedicated a lot of hard work to their sport, and they've had to make a lot of difficult decisions in order to achieve being able to even be on that stage. Sure, one of those decisions might have been to take a little extra, something than they should have, or just something extra that they shouldn't have had to begin with. And like if the 15-year-old can't get in trouble and be held to the same standard as an 18-year-old, maybe we need to reassess who should be allowed to participate in the Olympics. We are ever changing as a world, and I think that this is one of those times that's going to be defining for us as a human civilization for athletics. I think that there was a scandal, I want to say, in 2014 with Russia that led to them having to be like formed into their own type of organization outside of competing as a Russian athlete. Sure, I mean, that's a good start. But I think ultimately people don't really listen, or they don't really care about the ramifications of something until they're unable to achieve the top level of success at that particular activity. So what I'm trying to get at here is like, don't you guys think that if the person were to get their gold medal or medal removed entirely, if they were to had set a world record in that field or sorry, that event for the day, it wouldn't be recognized as a record, and the country would be medal ineligible for that activity or that event moving forward in the next Olympics. So it's like a 4-year change, plus it takes away all credibility that the individual might have achieved. And I think that it'll just like minimize the amount of people that want to copy, because now you're basically spending all that time training, all that money in the athletics that goes into training for something that you could never even get a gold medal in the end anyway. So they would deter people from even like wanting to cheat, in my opinion. But like, I just want to see what you guys think. I think this is one of those opportunities that we can really talk as a, put our beliefs kind of aside and just think in terms of YouTube RRR gaming. It's weird. I thought that was like a bug. Like, put your differences aside, just kind of like talk and like listen to what others have to say as well. Like, there's just too many people talking, not enough people listening. I always check out the comments. So if you want, we can have a back and forth. Would love to. I do have a Twitter associated to a YouTube channel now. The link will be in the description to follow it on the social. So I'm very excited to announce that, along with a TikTok that I will be starting up here. So feel free to follow that as well if you'd like. I think that will be like more shorts, and like it'll give you a like faster representation of what the like highlights of the video for the day will be. I'm not going to do too much like duplication. So I'm not just going to like take cuts from the existing video for the day and then just turn that into a TikTok or whatever. My goal is to like talk over a little bit of like what the video is and have a couple of snippets from the video, and then based off of feedback and everything, I'll try and fine tune it and become better and better. I actually don't have a personal TikTok. I was kind of like anti-TikTok. There was a point in my life where I pretty much had a social media account for literally everything. And when I got to college, I just kind of got burned out on it all. So I also thought it was kind of like a liability for something. Like when I started the professional workspace, for those that don't know, I am a software engineer in IT. So there is a large presence of your technical recruiter being out there looking at all your social accounts, as well as like your hiring manager, your peers. And those people are very skilled at figuring out like the dirt on someone. So the less that you have, people being able to find stuff on you, at least easily, I think the better. I don't really see myself as being one of those guys that did a lot of like crazy things. So like my past is not really of concern here. It's just more of like, why let a thing that you did when you were 18 in college dictate life decisions now that you're a little more mature? Like, you're in a different headspace, like you're trying to like build a professional avenue, and I just was never for it. So now that I'm kind of trying to pursue like this content creation a little bit more, and I could like keep TikTok in a professional setting, I think that it's a really good move for me. Just because I didn't have a TikTok doesn't mean I'm ignorant in like what it is and what it does. My fiance is very active on TikTok. She loves to do it. So I think that she'll try and run the account for a little bit, and then I'll just be feeding her the content portions. But yeah, definitely excited to see what everyone has to say. I think that this is one of the newer things in my life that I'm going to be testing out, and I think ultimately it could lead to some really cool. It could lead to a lot of discovery on my part. Like, I really don't know what the world of TikTok has to hold, so I'm a little excited, but at the same time, that worry in the back of my head is always going to be there of just managing another social media account that I don't know. Curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. Obviously, if you follow me, there's a pretty good chance I'll follow you back. This is I'm very new in the content game, so I'm trying my damnness to try and get the word out that I'm doing this. I've been uploading daily for the last, I want to say 2.5, 3 weeks now. I really appreciate all the support that people have been giving me. I'm like super grateful for everything. It's not easy doing this, and like I said, me not having a ton of social media accounts currently, it makes like getting in my network bigger and branching out all the more hard. So I really appreciate everyone that takes some time out of their day to subscribe, comment, like, you know, even just view the video. Like, that means so much to me. I'm really excited for what the future has to hold, and I think this is a journey that we can go down together. So let me talk a little bit about like the reason why I started a YouTube channel. So I actually started a YouTube channel because I have a lot of passions in life. Like, I haven't even started this playlist yet. I really enjoy woodworking. I enjoy woodworking. I enjoy programming for fun. I have both of those playlists will be new starting, I think, end of next week. It's just been like deathly cold in Minnesota, so getting outside, I don't have a heated garage yet. My fiance and I are probably going to be moving at the end of the year, and the goal is to have a heated garage at that point. But for the time being, I don't have one, so getting outside has been kind of a task with a camera. And so I'm holding off for the time being, and then when the spring hits, or even just like a nice thaw, I'll go ahead and jump out there and film a couple videos, whatever. Introduce you to my workspace, show off a couple little smaller projects that I've done in the past, and then talk about like what you should and should not have as a DIYer in woodworking, and then how I became like a hobbyist in woodworking. Also, let's talk about like the Python stuff. So as I said, like, I'm a software engineer. I've worked at a Fortune 50 company for 2.5 years before switching to, it's not a startup company because it's been around for 7 years now, but it started out as a startup and has since grown. I think the company size is close to like 150, 125. I actually don't know the exact number, so don't hold me like to it, but I know that we're hiring like crazy. If you have an IT background, you're looking to get your foot in the door there, feel free to like get in touch with me. I would be more than happy to sit down, talk a little bit about like what your experiences are, and then we could maybe get you set up with an interview if all goes well. I'm a believer that if you give back to others, you will get that stuff in return as well. So like, let's work together. Let's go ahead and like let's try and learn certain aspects of programming that maybe we didn't know when we started. The goal of that Python playlist is going to be to start out with like the very bare minimum basics of programming, like doc strings, linting, like what is the basic syntax, what is the difference between a function method and a class structure, all that kind of stuff, building up until like you start to align a data source to an object, using that data source to connect and feed it onto a host, and then having the host be able to communicate with some type of external software. And if all that sounds like it's over your head, that's probably a good thing, and that means that you probably should check out the playlist when it gets dropped. I'm going to be doing the videos one by one, but the goal is that at the start of the playlist will be the very bare minimum beginning, and each video will build off of one another until the very end video, which will be a fully functional application that can be packaged into PyPy. It has a built-in template for setting up your data source, and it is has all of the examples that you need to host your application in, whether it be AWS or some type of Docker instance. So like I said, it's going to be a pretty like beefy playlist. I'm probably going to be aiming close to like 20 videos there, all of which are going to be like 20-30 minutes long. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be a couple of assumptions here and there, like about you understanding what a for loop is and like data structures, those kind of things. It's going to be going in with the assumption that like you have all of the inner understandings of what it takes to write program. Like you have all of the understanding on how to program, understand what a boolean, an integer, float, all that stuff is. It's mostly about like syntactically, how do I achieve this in Python, and what are the limitations of Python. So it's gonna be a lot of that stuff. And then maybe in future videos, I'll be tackling some LeetCode problems. So for those of you that don't know, LeetCode is a free website that does competitions every Saturday night, I think, where you can enter for free. Like I think that they just do like these similar to like ELO points for first place, second place, whatever, and then you can redeem them for like premium access and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I didn't really go into it too much because I use it primarily when I'm interviewing for new jobs. There are some super challenging programming questions on there, like 5% of everyone who attempts them, and they have like 30,000 attempts. 5% of people get it correct. And not only is it about getting the problem correct, it's also how fast is the solution that you got. Like if it's not a fast solution, it'll tell you how fast it is. And then every time that you try and make a modification, it'll tell you if you improved if you improved the performance of it or not. And then one of the really, really cool benefits of it is if it takes too long, it'll actually give you an IO error and say like, this took way too long, so it's not even an acceptable solution, even if it's programmatically correct. It's just too inefficient. So I'll probably be starting up a LeetCode playlist as well. I got some really, really cool things on the docket for my Madden series, If Money Didn't Matter. I just filmed another franchise the other night, so I'm going to be looking to edit that. But in the meantime, you know, if you have any suggestions about stuff that you want me to do for covering the NFL, like those quizzes videos, if you haven't checked them out, I highly suggest it. I'm super active in the NFL, MLB, you know, just sports scene. I used to be a Division I baseball player, so I love sports. I live for it, and yeah. So yeah, the reason why I'm doing YouTube is I feel like I have a lot of passions in life. I feel like I was doing a lot of things for fun that are sometimes expensive to do as a hobby, and you know, like woodworking, it's pretty expensive. Like tools are expensive, wood's expensive, programming is expensive if you want to get high performant laptops like every 4 or 5 years, and getting a gaming PC, like that stuff adds up. And you know, there's just so many costs to things that I maybe wanted to figure out a way to, I'm not going to say monetize off of this because that's like the wrong vibe, I think. I just think that for all the money that I'm putting into something, I would at least like it documented so I can look back at my life and say, oh yeah, that was really, really cool how I did that project. It cost me, you know, $2,500, but look at this really, really cool end table that I was able to build off of it. Like having some documentable thing there, so if I ever broke it, I can just follow it back. You know, it's super cool, and I think that a lot of people find those videos very, very helpful. I don't have, you know, a woodworking background, but I've built an entire storage system for my garage. I have built a picnic table that folds into a bench. I have a workbench that folds into the wall. Like I have so many little things that I've created that are super sturdy. I have like plans for, like when I say plans, I mean like use this piece here, put screw here, like those kind of things. Like I actually have a build plan for how to put them together. So as always, you know, like if you feel like that stuff kind of appeals to you, for sure, let me know. because I would have no problem building those out. It just takes a little bit more time to film, I would say, some of those videos, because it's going to take some actual like real life woodworking building on top of all the editing that's going to go into it. It's going to take some money and all that kind of stuff. And then also, I don't want to just build something that I'm never going to use. But yeah, so that's going to do it for today's video. If you like the content, as always, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. See you.